Hey guys, it's Graham. What's cracking? This is me wrapping up Absolute Wonder Woman. Issue 5 came out last week. I haven't done any comic book videos in a couple of weeks. To be honest, I'd say probably half of the books on my poll file have been a little bit underwhelming lately. Void Rivals is a big one, but the Energon G.I. Joe hasn't been all of that exciting either. Um, the Duke book and the Cobra Commander book were both really good. Destro was fine. Scarlet was bad. And G.I. Joe has been just okay. They are 3 issues in now. And I wish that it was as exciting as it was when it kicked off. I've got to think that there's a, excuse me, a strong ending coming up around the bend, so we'll see. But yeah, it's not bad. It's just not that exciting, and the developments and the surprises and stuff. Like I'm just not getting into it that much, and I'm just hoping for it to pick up. As for the Absolute Trinity, let's see, Batman finished up. I did my review of that one over on Substack. And I really liked that, and I'm really looking forward to the end of this first volume for Absolute Superman, which hasn't been without its problems, but they're mostly, what's the word, like, overcomable. With Absolute Wonder Woman, overall, Kelly Thompson, and forgive me for forgetting the artist's name off the top of my head, they did a really good job. And I had every reason to be wary of that book because, like I've said in pretty much every review of every issue, my only exposure to Kelly Thompson's work was on Scarlet, and that one was very poorly handled. That was the first book that I've had on my poll file that I actively did not look forward to when it was coming out. And when I found out she was writing this one, I was like, okay, but we'll see. In brief summary, 30,000 foot view of this Absolute Wonder Woman story, it's a slightly alternate version where instead of being raised by other Amazons with Themyscira, whatever, she's raised in hell by the Greek mythological figure Circe, and she's raised to be a witch. That's not as weird as that sounds. When I first heard it pitched and described that way, I was like, oh, this is dumb. Don't think of it as like hocus pocus, bubble, toil and trouble type witches. Like, there's spells and potions and things like that, but it's all under the umbrella of Greek mythology, that whole aesthetic and everything. And it works. The story for this 5-book arc is that she comes to the surface to fight monsters, and there's a particularly big and nasty one called the Tetracide. It's called that because it has a 4-stage deployment for how it kills people, and it can kill an entire city. And this isn't just like, oh, it's some big scary monster and it'll do a Godzilla march through the town and destroy everybody. Like, the way that it works was explored in detail, and it was very well executed. It's like, okay, this is smart. There's some thought to it. That's just fantastic. And Diana struggles against this thing, but she's also able to play some hidden cards against it, and it works fantastically. Like, hey, you got a hero who is up to the task, but it's going to cost her to do it. And we're going to learn about her, and we're going to learn about her supporting cast along the way. Canonically, the love interest for Diana is a guy named Steve Trevor. You figure out how he fits in this story. He was a World War pilot. And then there's another woman named Candy, who I've touched on her. She, in this story, is also a witch, but the modern I buy my herbs at the nature store type. And, like Steve, she's got a role to play. It's all handled very well. Like, it does the things that a competent writer needs to do in order to tell the story right. Without spoiling anything in issue 5, Diana is able to confront the tetracide, even though like she's dealt some mostly critical blows to it throughout the story. She's able to confront it in a way that it goes back to working within Greek mythology, and it's reliant upon a Greek mythological story for it to work. But it's also reliant upon her own courage, her own willingness to self-sacrifice, and the abilities of her supporting cast to kind of bring her back from the edge when she has to go out there. I'm just being vague because I think that you should read this series and tell me what you think about it. It was worth the read. That said, I did, now that I've got the first 5 issues and this first arc is done, I did cut it from my pull file just because I'm shaking things up a little bit. I want to be a little bit more excited again every week when I go to the bookstore. And I'm going to replace Absolute Wonder Woman with an X-Men book that I've been told about. But I'll probably read Volume 2's trade paperback when it comes out. Just, excuse me, there's a lot of dust in the air right now. Just because it was interesting, and there was a bit of a cliffhanger ending at the end of this one. You know, this story arc is wrapped up, and now we're going into the next leg of it. And I'm happy for Kelly Thompson. You know, she was able to write a good book, and it means that she's got the chops that she needs as a writer to tell a story right. It means that Scarlet wasn't her best effort. It was just, she made whatever artistic and creative choices that she made with that. It didn't work, and she did what you would want a writer to do, and that is do better on their next showing. So, hat tip to her on that one. But yeah, I'm going to look into this other X-Men book, and at the time of this recording, it's actually early Wednesday morning. I'm on my way to work, and in a couple of hours, my LCS will be open, and I'll be out over there to grab this week's books. And I believe I'm getting a Geiger and a red coat. It could be just a red coat, but excited for that. What else? In the comic space, yeah, holy crap. Your boy Zach has been going off on a tear against Rippaverse for the last couple of weeks. And I got a question about that. It's like, well, you really like him and he really hates that. And it's like, well, do you hate Rippaverse now? It's like, no. I don't think that his complaints are unfounded. His criticisms have been fair, but I'm not going to stop liking something that I have come to like on my own just because somebody else that I like doesn't like it. Like, that's... How old are we? Is this elementary school? Oh, so-and-so isn't my best friend because my new best friend doesn't like my old best friend. Like, you're not friends with any of these people. They're all internet personalities. I met Eric July at a hangout once last June in Dallas. Like, it was cool. It was fine. I've been pretty fair with my criticism of the Rippaverse books. I was a hype guy on ISOM 1, and going back and looking at ISOM 2 and some of the other like early books from the publisher, it's like, okay, hopefully he's excuse me, hearing some of the criticism, and he's going to improve on it and build on it and everything. Again, I think some of those criticisms are valid. I think other of the criticisms are just people in general being nitpicky about stuff. Like, whatever, I don't care. If I keep buying the books and enjoying the books, oh no, I liked something. If other people on YouTube decide that they don't like my tastes because I liked something that they didn't like, oh no, like, I will get over it. Oh, look, it took me about that long. I don't care. And even if somebody whose work I enjoyed hated a different work that I enjoyed, what do I care? I don't temper my taste based on who approves of what I like, whether I like that person or not. Like, it doesn't matter. This is stupid. This is 8-year-old girl bullcrap. Oh, holy cow, it is dusty out tonight. It is not good. Okay, I am going to wrap this up and say hopefully today's comic books are good. Oh, I also did Hornsby and Halo 4, but I'll have to do a review of that later. Uh, that better not be my truck. Good, it's not. Anyway, drive safe. See you out there.